Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Underneath the Hood. I'm Dave Martin, the owner of Martin's Auto Repair in Central Phoenix.
I'm Glen Hayward, the proud owner of Goodworks Auto Repair in sunny Tempe, Arizona.
And I'm Lee Weatherby with Accurate Automotive in the heart of Mesa.
And together, we represent 140 years of combined automotive experience.
Our goal is to change the perception of our auto repair industry by going behind the scenes and underneath the hood.
And we hope to share with you what it's like to own a small business and give you a perspective from an insider's point of view.
So let's get started.
Well, hello guys, how you doing this morning?
David, I'm doing just great. Lee, how are you doing?
Glenn, doing fantastic. Dave, good to see you.
Baby.
Good to be with you.
Good to be with the boys again.
Yeah, and today, this podcast is going to be really fun. I think so because I think we all can relate to this because we're all young ones. And so it's going to be a really good podcast. But before we get started,
this was actually from a customer.
That
asked about this.
But before we get started into that and get the show going here, why don't you give us on this day?
Okay.
On this day. That's
Glenn
me.
gets to do on this day.
I do the on this day.
Oh, you do the quote of the day.
I do the
I screwed up.
Hey, and you know what? And I really researched this. This is going to be fun.
Okay.
Dave's gone.
Dave's
gone.
Dave.
He's having senior issues.
Hey, Dave. Was this a puff pass day?
Yeah. Yes. I guess.
I like this one a lot, and the reason why is because you'll see in a minute. On this day in automotive history, August 4th, 1956, it happened to be the year that I was born, at the NASCAR Grand National Race in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Lee Petty.
I like him already.
Lee Petty, one of the Petty boys,
Yeah.
took matters into his own hands. Due to poor visibility and extreme dust on lap 32, Petty famously stopped his car, climbed the flag stand, waved at a red flag to halt the race, and it remains one of NASCAR's most unusual stoppages.
I like that.
That is crazy.
But you know what? That was creative. That was creative. And you know what? Listen, looking out for his other drivers, that's a fantastic story. I love that. I really do.
Yeah,
Pretty
it really is a good one. What do you got for the quote of the day?
Okay, well, listen, I'm going to ask you guys to bear with me on this one because this is a really, really long quote. And I just got to tell you right up front, this is one of my favorite ads ever created. The individual that wrote this, okay, hats off. All I can say is hats off because this is a ad for a car that is being sold. So bear with me and we'll go with this. And some of you may recognize this, but I can tell you this is an old Craigslist ad, and you're it just makes me smile every time.
Forward home.
For sale. 1999 Toyota Corolla. You want a car that gets the job done? You want a car that's hassle-free? You want a car that literally no one will ever steal? Well, look no further. The 1999 Toyota Corolla. Let's talk about the features. Bluetooth? Nope. Sunroof? Nope. Fancy wheels? Nope. Rear view camera? Nope. But it's got a transparent rear window and you have a neck that can turn.
There you go.
Let's talk about history. This is where the guy gets really good. When the car was unveiled at the 1998 Detroit Auto Show, it caused all 2,000 attendees to spontaneously yawn. The resulting abrupt change in air pressure inside the building caused a partial collapse of the roof, and 4 people died. The car is popular with librarians, people who have given up on life, and people who are in the witness protection program because they don't want to be noticed.
I love it.
Let's talk about reliability. This car will outlive you. It will outlive your children.
Amen.
You could take the engine out of this car, drop it off the Golden Gate Bridge, fish it out of the water 1,000 years later, fill the tank up with gas, fill the gas tank up with Nutella, turn the key, and this puppy would start right up. Okay. Let me tell you a story. One day, my Corolla started making a strange sound. I didn't give it says beep, and ignored it. It went away. The end.
Wow.
Just nuts, man. Why am I selling it? Now, this is the best part. Why am I selling this baby? Because I want a car that actually makes me feel something. Anything. Even if that feeling is fear, because my car might not start. I'm tired of the soul-crushing reliability of this Japanese toaster. I want a car with personality, which is code for it breaks a lot.
There you go.
Let's face the facts. This car isn't going to win any beauty contests, but neither are you. Stop lying to yourself and stop lying to your wife. This isn't the car you want, it's the car you deserve.
And what
Price? $1,500.
sold?
The 1998 Toyota Corolla. It's a car.
There you go.
Wow. Well,
Kudos to the author.
That's really good. That is really funny and really good. And the only thing I got to say is that we hear this kind of on a regular basis at our shop where customers are coming and go, what happened to the simple days when I could get a car that just had all the simple stuff in it? Because all the stuff that the bells and whistles and all that stuff, it all breaks at some point and it costs a lot of money to fix.
You bet.
So the being so simple, that car was so simple that sometimes simple is always better.
You bet.
No matter what, And so it kind of leads us right into our show today.
And the question that the guy asked.
Right.
Should I get a beater?
Should you get a beater? Well, and before we do that, listen, if you like this podcast, please like and subscribe to podcastunderneaththehood.com.
Amen.
And we would definitely love that. Also, Lee kind of alluded to earlier that we're doing this podcast based on one of our listeners' requests. They had asked us about this. So we kind of put this thing together, and this quote was hilarious, and it was really funny.
But it was true to the point.
It was true to the point. I love that.
Absolutely.
And so you talk about, let's start by talking about, should you get a beater? Well, it depends on what are you going to do with the car, who's driving the car, and what kind of longevity do you want from the vehicle? Is that fair enough?
Yeah. I mean, is whatever you're going to pick, is it going to suit the needs that you have for this vehicle?
You guys, and I'm going to tell you this. I would buy this car tomorrow. I mean, I'd buy this car today if I knew where it was. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
The interesting thing is, because in all truthfulness, is it easy to find a reliable car that's, let's call it inexpensive? It's not. Guys, now it's harder than ever. It's harder than ever because some of the stuff that's out there absolutely doesn't have even a quarter of the qualities. In fact, the only thing that you would be filled with is fear in buying some of these cars.
Yeah. And I mean, $1,500, this guy's giving it away.
Oh, he is.
Well,
He is. There's no such thing as that car anymore.
No.
The old $1,500 car is now $5,000.
And that's a perfect.
Thank you for saying, because that is
that is a perfect car for a young person. Approximately 12% of teenagers and new drivers are involved in a police-reported non-fatal car accident each year.
Absolutely.
So and we all have kids. All of us have kids, right? And how many times? I mean, I know I only have one daughter, and I got that phone call probably 3 times when she was really a lot younger, because they misjudge things.
It's inexperience.
Don't pay attention as much, and inexperience, and think they can do something that they can't. And so they get themselves into some situations where they get these little fender benders. And my daughter had a really, really nice Honda, and I bought it from a good friend of mine that I went to high school with. There wasn't a dent on this car, and this guy was so anal about his car. He would wash it like every other day. He was washing his car, and it was great. So I bought it from him to give to my daughter. And it was about 1.5 years later, she decided to run alongside of a pole. The best part,
it was a modification.
She redecorated.
The best part of that is she called me up and she goes, "Dad, I put a dent in my car." So I went out there and I looked at that and I go, "You call that a dent?" The whole side of the car was caved in. I'm like, "Oh."
Was it a little dent or a big dent?
Yeah, she considers that a little dent.
It was a long dent. Doesn't qualify. The depth was.
It's the dent that keeps on giving.
There you go.
And then also too, the police reported crash rate for 16 to 19-year-olds.
Oh, it's got to be high.
Is nearly 4 times higher than the drivers over 20 and older.
And that makes perfect sense because, I tell a lot of our customers that come in, they're looking for a vehicle for a new driver in their home. Could be, a young person, could be somebody that's come back, could be, a member of the family that maybe has fallen on a little bit more hard times. And I tell them, listen, it's not a bad idea, for us to start looking at something instead of going out and trying to price out something new. Let's evaluate what the needs are for the driver. How are they going to be driving it? Where are they going to be going? How's it going to be utilized? And then we could really go out and find something that would fit that bill. We want to kind of get a target budget, to find out what kind of money we're going to spend. Because, I hate to say it, sometimes people don't necessarily, they think about budget first. And so they go, well, I've got $6,000, so I'm going to go find a $6,000 car. A very bad decision, because what happens is you're buying a $10,000 car that you're only paying $6,000 for, but there's $4,000 worth of repairs that are not discussed in the ad.
And one of the things that I tell the clients is that number one is safety is number one.
Yes.
If you're going to buy a vehicle, you want to make sure that it's a safe car to be driving.
Yes.
And to that point, did you know today, mid 2020s, 24 to 30% of damaged vehicles are totaled.
That's the big key. We did a podcast about this not too long ago.
Well,
and why? The real reason why is because cars nowadays are made to collapse around the driver. Crinkle zones. Whenever a car crinkles or basically crushes in like a mushroom, it folds, and it's folding to protect the passengers. Lovely idea.
What's more expensive, replacing the car or fixing all the medical needs of the people who are killed?
Absolutely.
And I tell people this all the time. The older cars, they bounced off each other. That's what they did.
That's right.
Crumble. But nowadays,
and people took the brunt.
Right, people took the brunt, and that's why it's so important that I tell people when they are going to buy that beater for their kid or whatever, that you definitely, to your point, and you brought something up that I really wanted to cover, was that if that car had been in a really good crash before and that vehicle wasn't put back to the original state of that vehicle when it was crash tested, when the safety part of it was tested, you got a vehicle that's really unsafe. Because the next time that car crumbles, to your point, the next time you get in an accident and that car crumbles, it's not going to crumble the way it was designed to crumble.
Absolutely.
To protect the passengers inside of it.
It's so important for people to know that. And I will tell you, that brings up the second point. I would say, first off, should I get a beater? To answer, to answer our listener, I would say a beater is a very, very viable option. Now, beater is an odd word because it's probably, we're assuming that it's a lesser vehicle.
Or it's been beat up.
Yeah, or it's been used and refurbished. And your point is really well taken, Dave, and that is, a lot of the cars out there right now have salvage titles. Okay, a salvage title doesn't necessarily disqualify a car from being looked at, but it also doesn't make it that it's good car just because it's back on the road.
I'll give you an example of that. Let me stop you right there. I'm going to give you an example. I have a customer that their car got in a hailstorm. It was sitting in a parking lot.
There we go.
Hail came in there.
Perfect.
And this car looked like a golf ball.
There we go.
It had more dents on this car than you could ever imagine. There was probably, if there was 100 of them, there was 1,000 of them. There was everywhere. There were dents all over this car, right? And it was a Honda Accord.
Yeah.
And this car we had serviced for a long period of time.
Oh, yeah.
And the customer said, I'm not getting rid of this car. I really like the car. It's so reliable. It's really good. And I said, yeah, it really is. I said, there's nothing wrong with it other than the cosmetic part of it. But they totaled that car.
You bet they did. Because it was going to cost more to fix the body and make it look pretty.
Yeah, right, yeah. So to your point, I want to bring that out, that there is scenarios where it's okay. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
But there's scenarios out there where when you're talking about,
just like you talked about the crinkle zones,
right?
When a car's been so badly damaged that if it wasn't repaired, and let's face it, there is a reason why 30% of cars are getting totaled because of the cost to repair them.
Yep.
And when you're buying a salvage title car that has been in what we're going to call a heavy collision, because they don't total a car for light collisions. They total a car generally for a heavier type collision where it costs more than 80% of the value of the car. That's when it's totaled, all right, to be able to repair it. if it's not done properly, it's not the same car that it was or that it was advertised to be, and it's not going to protect the passengers the same way. That's when it really becomes vital to get a pre-purchase inspection. I'm just going to say all of us here do them, and there's probably quite a few shops that actually do them, but I would just say this: don't ever buy a car used without consulting, you know what I mean, your automotive professional, and get a pre-purchase inspection.
I'm going to throw something in just for what it's worth. You know, we have people come in all the time for a pre-purchase inspection and make the appointment to come in, they've already bought the car.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
Wait a minute. This was called a pre-purchase. Did you buy this from a car lot? Did you buy this car from a private party? Did you buy this from a reputable dealership?
It was such a good deal, I had to get it now.
Did you buy it from a reputable dealership?
Yeah.
Has it been inspected? No, that's why I'm here. Well, you've already spent your money. Now, what if I tell you that this car has irreparable damage done to it and it's not safe?
Yeah.
Or there's things that, you know, you're going to have to spend thousands of dollars on to make right before this vehicle can be safely driven on the road.
Well, and that was what I was kind of alluding to earlier.
And there's things that you're not going to see. A lot of times, you know, if a car's in a flood,
yes,
they'll total the car.
They will.
But then what happens is somebody pulls it out, takes it to a warmer climate like Arizona,
Yep.
and what they do is they try to rebuild that car. But that car was underwater.
Right.
There's so many electronics in these cars now. You're not going to see
Wait
all
a minute,
these problems.
what kind of water were they submerged in mostly?
Salt water.
Salt water.
Yeah.
Corrosion city. I mean, that is the quickest way to corrode something. Add salt to it.
Yeah, right. So those are. There's a lot of reasons why a car gets totaled, and if you don't know the reason behind that car, I always tell them, I go, if you don't know the reason why that car was totaled, it's probably not something we want to buy.
That's true.
You want to stay away from it.
And I will tell you, you know, I've had people say, well, should I use this Carfax and should I use some of these other, you know, inquiry things? And I say, it's definitely not a bad idea. Because it can give you some information that can help you, you know what I mean, in the process to know whether you even want to proceed. Just to your point, if the car was in a
Carfax
flood,
only gets information when it's reported.
when it's reported, that's what I say. It's not the end all be all. It's not it's not the end all be all, but it still can give you some pretty good information.
Well, it's a starting point.
Yeah,
but the thing is
good research.
But to both of your points, do the inspection.
Got to
because we can see a lot of things. We had a car in our shop. And we got to move on, but we had a car in our shop that my tech was looking over the car, and he went and pulled the floor mat, the floor placing, you know, what's on up underneath the dash, pulled it back, and there was sand.
Yep.
There was a bunch of sand there. Well, we know
sand doesn't just gravitate into your car when you're sleeping.
And it was up underneath the dash too. Yeah. It was up underneath the dash. Well, the only way sand's going to get under the dash is that dash was underwater.
You bet.
And that's not a.
Where's all the computer modules?
I can share a story with you. I know you said we got to move on, but I could share a story with you, and this is actually from this week. We have a vehicle that's in the shop right now. A lady brought it in, and it wouldn't shift out of gear. It literally, you couldn't shift out of gear. She got it towed in. She had it at another facility. Well, we got in this car, windshield wipers are going, you know, alarms going off, and I'm looking at the tow guy, and it won't come out of gear, and I go, how'd you get on the truck? We just jerked it. I go, come on, man. Well, I mean, they've got a screwdriver jammed in to the override, and it still won't come out of gear, and I'm going, whoa. First thing you do, you sit down, the airbag's been cut out of it. I'm like, oh my God.
There's another thing.
This is a salvage title product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That somebody's trying to get in. Okay, guys, no question. To your exact point,
I try to be very
22 hours. It took us 22 hours to find the bug. It was very poor quality, shoddy workmanship that they had done some wiring on the CAN network system, 26 modules. Okay, we had to isolate each one, break it out, going to the power steering, okay, electronic power steering, going to the power steering module, okay. Every time you would try to turn the wheel in the car, it triggered 26 modules. Everything was coming on at once, car would die. We thought, wow. Wouldn't come out of gear or anything else because blowing the circuits. So we literally spent 22 hours. And you know what? Does the customer want to pay for those 22 hours? No. They didn't want to pay for that. We certainly didn't want to dedicate the time to do it. But at the same token, I said, listen, you had this vehicle at 2 other places before you got it here. When you purchased the car, did you get a pre-purchase inspection? Nope. No. Let me just go back to that sheet. Nope. Did you do any research to find out what kind of problems the car had prior to purchase? Nope. Okay, so now what do we want to do? Do you want us to continue and make the repair on the vehicle, or do you want to, let this vehicle go to salvage? Well, they decided to pay the 22 hours, now that we've broken it down and fix it. But you guys, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Well, and you just don't know what the longevity of that is. And you don't know what's going to happen down the road.
And that's really where the problem is. And I said, listen, you need to understand, if you decide to get this fixed and then get rid of it and then get another car, please bring it in and get it inspected. Of all the things, if you're going to buy a car, beater or otherwise, okay, just you want to get another car, bring it in for a pre-purchase inspection. And exactly to both Glenn and Dave's point, pre-purchase means before you pay for it, before you buy it, bring it in so
before
that we can
evaluate
it. Right.
Well, and I always tell customers, make sure that we're in the process. If you're looking for a new vehicle, call us.
Yeah,
ask
include
us about
us.
And
let's be partners.
And that brings up my next question to you: is what high mileage car would you recommend?
Oh boy, there's a bunch.
What it's asking here, and this is my view, it's asking that what vehicle can you buy with the most cost-effective miles possible?
So I'm going to tell you right now, it's kind of a trick question, but listen, Hondas and Toyotas have always been very reliable. It's funny that the quote of the day was about a Toyota, but I mean, think about some of the funniness of that. Yeah. The thing you could put Nutella in it after it's been, sitting underwater for 100 years and it's going to start up. It's kind of, why did it earn that reputation? I mean, because that's an earned reputation, okay? Why did it earn that reputation? Because of the reliability, right? And because of, as funny as it was and as it really is and creative, and once again, I thank the writer for doing that, it really is giving heed to the fact that this is a great car. I can expect to get in it and take me where I want to go. What high mile cars am I going to be looking for? I'm going to be looking for Hondas and Toyotas. I'm going to be looking for the Subarus. I think we talked about Subarus in the past. I'm going to be looking for.
Well, and also too, let's back up here a little bit.
Some of the older trucks.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
older.
What do we use? What are we using that vehicle for? Are we talking truck? Are we talking SUV? Or are we talking car?
Bingo.
Because there's a lot of differences in there too.
And the brands change drastically from one
year
to the
year.
other. Well, I'm just saying, just comparing, the Chevy to the Ford to the Dodge to the whatever, in the truck lines or whatever, different years. There's like lines in the sand where these vehicles used to be the most reliable things, and now they've changed something. They put a different motor, different transmission in it, and now it's a piece of junk. If you get 100,000 miles up before you're spending $10,000 on it, you've done very well. So doing your research, is key to this thing. Look at current owners. Find out. You can get on, scream sites on the internet and find out, okay, I'm looking at possibly buying this vehicle. Well, what are people saying about it? The dissatisfaction, the satisfaction ratings, because people who own them will be honest.
Yeah.
And many of them, like I said, historically, they've always bought this line of vehicle. They've always bought this line of trucks. Yeah. They've been faithful to that brand, and now they won't touch them anymore.
Dave, you don't get to answer some of these questions sometimes. What vehicles would you recommend?
Well, I was just going to say before I said about that is that all these vehicles, the way they're built today, they're so high tech and there's so much. If you want to look in, almost all of them have had a recall at some point.
Yes.
Almost all of them have their issues that this one has this problem, this one has this problem. But what you want to do is you want to find something that overall, and you have to look at that overall. There might be something about this car that I would say, yes, this is the most reliable car, but it has this issue, and it's something you need to deal with. And there might be ways to circumvent that so you don't have that problem. You can maybe get around it. But for the most part, when you start to look at cars, And you look at resale too. You nailed it. I mean, really, Honda and Toyota, really, the resale value on those cars is really high.
Yeah, even the trucks.
And they are totally reliable. There's no doubt about it. And you guys can remember Honda and Kia. Well, Honda and Kia, when they first came out, they were 100,000-mile throwaway cars.
Now they're great cars.
Yeah, now the technology.
Some of the best cars on the road.
Yeah, the technology in them is so much better. My daughter she had a Kia car before. Now she's got a Kia SUV, and but they really are very kind of put together a lot better. When they first came out, they were like that guy described in your quote there is that
Bluetooth, nope, sunroof, nope, fancy, nope.
Yeah, that's where they were. It was like a box. It was like a box on wheels. It was totally like a box on wheels. And I kind of felt the same way about a Toyota Camry.
Yeah.
Toyota Camry, when they first came out, they were just a box. Now they're kind of cool looking.
They are cool.
They're really kind of cool looking.
And they had to do something with the design. They were very plain Jane looking vehicles.
They were.
Nevertheless, the reliability factor was so far off the charts it didn't matter. If you just wanted something that was going to last, give you a decent fuel economy, and be comfortable to drive in, I mean.
So the opposite side of that, guys, what vehicle would you tell your customers to stay away from?
Wow, I mean, at the events, that's a tough question, because here's what I tell you. Well, people like them, but if I was going to say steer clear of these vehicles, I would tell you I wouldn't buy a Nissan if you paid me to, because they don't have transmissions that last. I would not go anywhere near a Mitsubishi.
Well, the unless is if it doesn't have the CVT.
Well, and they're
certain years.
I set you up for failure on this thing.
I'm sure
because
you did.
Here's the deal.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Got a parachute?
I did not give you the right question, because the parameters basically. Let's face the fact. What are you doing with that vehicle?
Right.
What is your goal? What do you want from this vehicle? I got customers that trade in their vehicles every 3 years, and they don't give a rip. They don't care how good the vehicle is.
How many recalls there are?
By
the time they turn it in, it won't matter.
They change.
Because they're on a lease program.
Right. Either that, they're a lease program, or they just want a new vehicle every 3 years. And you know what? If you're that person, pretty much you can buy anything you want.
Yeah.
Because it isn't going to matter. But if you want longevity, you want to run that vehicle for 300,000 miles, and you want to get the most cost-effective miles to where it isn't going to just, your bank account isn't going to get sucked completely dry.
You bet.
For driving it. Then what vehicle would you tell your clients to stay clear of?
Like I say, I would tell them to steer clear of the Nissans. Most of the Nissans in some of the years, they just don't have real reliable transmissions, all right? The older Nissans, listen, my first car was a Nissan. I loved it, and I would do that. But you can't go back to, 1974 and, get that car.
I had a customer that had like 500,000 miles on his Nissan truck back in the 70s,
yeah.
The 1970s.
Well, we're talking 70s.
Yeah, right.
So if that's when they were relevant,
those things,
it's probably...
those things were bulletproof back
then.
They were.
You
could drive them forever, man.
But remember, it used to be... I think it was Honda, then Toyota, then Nissan.
Yeah, right.
Right now, you guys, Toyota and Honda are kind of the cream of the crop. Subaru has kind of penetrated that level, and now your next tier is a chasm away. But I mean, you're talking your Kias, and you're talking, your Hyundais, and you're talking, those vehicles. Some of the Mazdas will fit into there, but some of the Mazdas will go way down. So I can only tell you. Every car is like an individual, all right? Any car can be a great car, and any car can be a pile of garbage. So you need to get that car inspected, because I have seen some cars that have high miles, all right, that are just, I'd purchase them in a heartbeat, because they've been so well maintained and they're a pleasure to drive. So cars do speak. I don't care what anybody says, and I don't mean they're verbal. I'm saying you can look at things and see, if there's stuff coming up on them, that you're going to have problems.
Well, and I tell people this too. The thing of it is repairing certain cars is more expensive than repairing other cars.
Bingo.
Because there's certain cars out there you can buy the parts, and I tell people this all the time. I go, you can buy the parts from 50 different places, and then there's cars out there you can buy the parts from 5 different places. Well, the place that the car that you can only buy the parts from 5 different places is going to cost you more because
bigger price tag.
There's no competition. Right. There's less competition, I should say.
Right.
There's just less competition. Right. When you got 50 people competing to sell a part, there's a lot of competition. Yeah, it drives the cost down.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's I hope that you got something out of it. But
listen, we need to thank our listener for that question because that was fantastic. Yeah. That was a fun podcast.
And the other thing, I think back to the moral of the whole story is that whatever car you want, whatever car you're looking at or you thinking about, please get it inspected first. Number one.
Don't think with your eyes.
Yeah, define what your needs are and then make it fit those needs.
Don't think with what's popular amongst your friends or whatever, because you're going to end up in the same boat as them if you're buying an unreliable vehicle. It's going to cost you more money in the first year or two of ownership than what you paid for it.
Well, and remember, listen, and this is important because I think it's important just to remember this. At any time, you could have an incident or an accident. Let's hope, heaven forbid, hope not. But if you do, then you might need an interim car. Some of these cars, these beaters, can be great interim cars, while you're getting either the insurance settlement or another car, but it keeps you on the road because cars are tools and we've got to keep our tools sharp.
Well, and I always tell people all the time, if you're going to buy a car and you're not going to get it inspected and you just want to go with your eyes, make sure.
Go to the casino.
No, make sure it's a pretty car because when it's sitting in your driveway not running, you want to be able to look at it.
Now,
you want your neighbors to be happy.
I'm going to throw in one more thing.
Oh my gosh.
This week we had a Honda Odyssey come in. The guy bought it. He had it for 1 day.
Oh, wow.
1 day. A 2010, if I'm not mistaken. And the motor blew up.
Wow.
He spent every penny he had to buy this vehicle because of the reputation of the Odyssey. I've got a Honda Odyssey that I've been using for my shuttle van. It's a 2004. It now has 325,000 miles on it.
Wow.
It has the original engine. I've put 2 transmissions in it, and I've kept up on all the other maintenance, and that's why it's lasted. But I've put minimal money into that vehicle because of its reputation for reliability. That's why I bought it.
Right.
Prior to that, I owned a Ford Taurus wagon. I did nothing but throw money and transmissions into that thing. Never could get it to run right. Even as a expert technician, we could never figure out why the transmission would never shut.
And that might be a good podcast for us to build a list of the cars that, you know what I mean?
So,
we've actually personally owned.
So anyway, this guy bought what should have been a great, reliable car, had 135,000
miles. Wow, low mileage.
Which is nothing.
It is nothing.
Right? So he just blindly bought the thing, and the engine blew up.
What happened? Timing belt break or something?
No, it's got low compression or something, or head gasket.
So he's got a bad valve, bad head gasket.
But it's beyond anything that he can afford to fix. That's the problem. Wow. So he spent his money, and now he wants to know if I'm interested in buying it.
I'll buy it.
You can use it.
If you don't want
use another shuttle van. Yeah. But I'm just saying, the point is this poor guy didn't have the thing inspected before he bought it. Spent every dime he had, and now he's stuck and he's got nothing.
And that's
don't have a car, don't have any money.
Yeah, that's a perfect point for the value of inspections.
That's why I threw it in at the end.
We all hate those deals after they buy the car, and then we have to give them the bad news. It's
now you're the bad guy.
And now you're the bad guy. But hey, guys, it's been a great podcast, and I enjoyed hanging out with you guys as usual, and looking forward to the next one. And hey, if you like our podcast, please like and subscribe to podcast
underneaththehood.com.
There you go.
And you can do it. Please send in your questions because this is super fun when we get a chance to research the things that you really want to know about. Put a little extra effort into that. Thank you very, very much.
Thanks again.